This week, I want to get the quarter window glass assembled into the frame. Hopefully get this car back together soon. Last time I left off with all the chrome pieces here on the table, just trying to get organized and mock things up. This nut here that holds the pivot looks like this. This is for the wind wing upper pivot. The nut that holds that on does need to be tight because the rubber goes over the top of it. Okay, now it's very tight and firm, so we can work the rubber back in. I'm gonna clean up some tools and we'll get that rubber pushed back in. So these screws on the exterior actually protrude quite a bit into the seal space. So I've just trimmed the seal a little bit so there's room for that screw. And then I'm gonna just Dremel out a little bit bigger channel there just to make sure there's no tight spots when the window gets closed. So that's a nice little fit right there, and it's tucked in on both sides. I'm just using my mirror to make sure the seal is in right. So that looks lined up reasonably well. Now this side for sure is long, so I think I'll go ahead and start to trim that conservatively. The rubber shrinks over time, so you want to kind of compress it into position. So I'm just going to take off 1/8 of an inch or so. So the screws are loose here in the corners, but there's that bracket that is just underneath the seal. It's right there. It's gonna be a little hard to see, but hopefully that small relief on the seal will help it fit just a little bit better. So let's go ahead and slide it in. Yeah, this is the small little gap I was trying to trim down a little bit. But I think once the glass goes in there, there'll be some pressure upward like that when the glass is in it. So it's going to help close up that gap. I think it's going to be just fine. So you can see this chrome piece actually, pushes in on that corner right there when the window closes. So the latch assembly, has a lot of parts to it. This is the button that's visible from the outside. It's having trouble going into this housing, so this looks dirty to me. So we're gonna have to clean that out a little bit. And then this piece also can go through, and that looks like it's fitting through. But I think it's supposed to protrude a little bit further in. So this slot gets a roll pin, so that's how we know how far that goes in. That looks like it's correct. And this is turning, 90 degrees. There's a little flat spot on both sides of this, so we'll make sure those are opening and working fine. That's gonna go right through the window. I think I just realized a mistake. This piece is the wrong pivot. I think these flat spots should be on the outside, so I need to redo that. Another reason for not gluing things together right away. So this is the right side. So let's put that back in there. So if you're paying attention, it's a wavy washer, thick, heavy friction washer. This washer is special because it's keyed or has flat spots on it. Spring, this washer here has a shoulder to it, so that keeps the spring centered. And then this is a lock nut. Probably wouldn't hurt to put a new lock nut on so it doesn't come loose. But right now I'm just using the old one. Yeah, now this looks a little bit better with the rubber because when this closes, it looks like that. That's much better than what it did before. So, because this only turns one direction, this looks like it fits perfectly. I think that's the shape we want when it touches the seal. And then when we put the glass in, it's gonna compress it this way and it's gonna kind of push all that together. So far so good. We just need to work out that latch. And of course these latches are mirror images of each other too, but I know this is the inside and it goes like this, I'm pretty sure. Checking the threads on all the pieces here. I got that one clear. This is M5. I'm gonna double check that with this guy, yeah. Finally got the threads working on these two little guys. It's just a knurled button. There is a spring that seems to go right over that pin. So my current theory is that this fits in here like this. This goes over here like this. The roll pin would go through that and engage with that slot. And then there's this guy with a spring on it that tightens up on it like that. This is locked up when this is all the way down. This either goes this way or this way, so I'm just gonna guess on that. So right now I have the thicker part towards me. We'll see if that's right, I'm not sure. Man, I can't get it to work that direction because I can't get the roll pin in. So I'm gonna turn this 180 degrees and try again. Now the roll pin will go in. Here it is assembled. This will turn and lock like so. And then to unlock it, you have to push this in and turn it. I just figured that out. So you can lock it, but you can't open it. So you gotta push and turn it. Okay, so now the pin is in and the glass is in. The only thing that's not in is the upper pivot, but that's okay for now because I just want to see how this works. The one thing I just noticed is you can see through the glass into the back of this holder. I didn't realize that because this chrome is it's not chromed on the backside. So I don't know if that's supposed to be painted black or is it supposed to be chromed? This is the one unplated part that I have, and it does look like it's chrome behind there, but it's not the same luster as this. So probably what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that piece out and I'm just going to spray it with a, like a chrome spray. I will clean it and prep it. I think I'm gonna leave it at that, real light coat. It should be fine. So without fully rechroming this piece, that's the best I could do today. This piece is not perfect. It's got a couple little defects here. So I am not gonna worry about it. This is something that could be re-chromed at a later date, but we'll see. You know, if I ever do like Concord competition and I get points taken off, then we'll know. But this to me is perfectly acceptable. Here's how it looks through the glass. So this little bit is visible from the inside. This side with the button sticking out is the exterior. So it's something that you would barely notice going down the road. Now I'm fitting the last seal in with the glass in place just so I know that it's in the right direction. This obviously is too long, but I just want to get a feel for how difficult it is to I think we'd like for the glass to be a little bit this way. It's making good contact along that seal, and it's got good contact everywhere around here, so I think it's okay to glue the glass in now. And I'm using a black sealant RTV Permatex, and I'm just putting a little bit here in this corner. This time I have 4 wavy washers on there just to try to make that latch just a little bit tighter. I think that's going to help. I'm just getting the pin started. I'm not going to push it all the way in. So I am seeing a little looseness on this, but the more shims I put in there, the better that looseness becomes. So I may put another one in, but I can do that after the glass is glued in. Now I'm going to focus on this upper side, glue that guy in. And it's very important we don't forget this fiber washer. That is part of the friction and just prevents metal to metal contact. And then on this side, I'm going to put a little bit more than I did on the bottom. So we need to get this in there somehow. So there's going to be a thin coating on the whole surface on this one. Fiber washer, and then this is the final assembly, guys. So this one slides past the spot where it needs to be, just so you can get that pin in there, and then you slide it back the other way. And then I'm going to just go ahead and close this. We're wiping off the excess. We're looking at the fitment here on that hinge. Looks correct. Do the final tightening of these screws here. And that's the assembly right there. The latch is working really well. You know, you push it, push the button, turn it, pops back out. So again, if this is locked down, you cannot open it. You can't push it. Last thing to do is to drive that roll pin in. And I'm gonna try to do it without unlatching it. I'm not gonna move it all the way out until tomorrow and let that, sealant cure. And then we'll go ahead and do the other side. No wiggle, hardly at all. We got 5 washers on that side, seem to do the trick. Towards you, open it up. So it'll open, all the way past 90, which is ideal. This is how you get the airflow in the car. Doesn't seem to bind. It stops right about there. It's about as far as it'll go. It's got a good amount of friction. I can't imagine that this is gonna open up going down the road or close going down the road. So I like the amount of friction it has right now. And then to close it, you just kind of have to push and then clamp it down. The seals are still new, so it's taking a little bit of extra effort, I think, until the seals kind of take a set. But I think it works pretty well. Pretty happy with it. From the outside, it also looks pretty good. This is the exterior side, so a lot of this will get kind of buried in the door frame, but the rubber, actually, the gaps and stuff look pretty good. I think it's not bunched up anywhere. This piece is pretty good shape. The seal along the side is good. It looks like the glass could go in just a little bit more right there, but like I said, the rubber is not fully taken a set yet. Hasn't even been outside in the sun. I think the hardest part is getting this roll pin in. This guy was pretty tricky. You have to use a lot of wavy washers here so this piece is not loose. Like I got it in there pretty firm. You have to really yank on it to make it tilt a little bit. So those wavy washers are putting pressure on it. So I ended up going a little bit undersized on the pin just so I didn't break this handle. These handles are not cheap, I know, because the plater lost one, or lost both of them, I should say. And then to keep the pin in there, the spring washers put a lot of tension on it already, but I just put some green Loctite on the pin. You can use green Loctite after it's been assembled, and I think that's going to keep the pin in there long term. So the next step here is to install this new strip. I got this new strip and I didn't realize it said 1 per car, which I guess is only for this forward leg. That is all you get. The channel is actually a different thickness on the top and on the back. So I'm still waiting on a thicker channel. I think it's a flexible channel that goes on the top and then down the back. I suspect it's going to get a lot tighter once it gets clamped into the frame. Thank you all for following my progress. I'm a little bit behind where I thought I would be. Basically, a lot of the parts need to be either fixed or restored or trips to the store, all the things. But I will get caught up. I did get the driver's side frame assembled with the wind wing, so I at least got that done.